Hey, Blue Table fans! I have a tripod going today. Isn't that exciting? And we're going to take a look at this is a 3D print. I don't know who makes it offhand. I don't know where I got it from. I'll see if I can put the link to the Etsy shop in the liner notes. Now, one of the disadvantages of 3D prints and buying 3D prints is sometimes the resin can be very brittle. But a lot of companies, they use a formula that makes them more akin to plastic. So they don't just shatter if they're dropped. And this is one of those. It's made with a very resilient type of a resin. Now, let me get a 25 millimeter base figure here. So that's how big this guy is. Here, I'll put my hand up there. And so this is about, I'd say almost 6 inches tall from the base to the top. Now, this guy came with a really cool 75 millimeter / 3-inch diameter round base, but I ended up not being able to use that base because I'm using this model for a version of Warhammer Fantasy called 9th Age, which is a fan-based thing. I'll talk more about that in the future. Now, this guy comes with a palanquin, which is like a floating dais / throne thing. So let's take him off and take a look at just that element. And at first I was like, this isn't really like the Games Workshop thing. It should have like this really ornate banner type thing up top. But frankly, it's kind of grown on me. And the thing that occurred to me is this ball of energy, this is really the focal point, the high focal point. So I really love this guy. I might get a different version of him or do something different. I really have no idea. But I did change him to a 50 millimeter base. Let's take a look at the base. It's going to have a 30 millimeter metal plate on it. I put on corking skulls and I did flock and tuft foliage and this little swampy stuff. Although I may change the color of that because it sort of blends in with the flock in terms of value. And I did paint the entire palanquin top to bottom. All the vines got a 4-step process, and very pleased how they turned out. Originally I was going to do the vines brown, but green turned out to be a much better choice, as you shall see. So here's what the back looks like. It has these huge tusks or whatever that are strapped on there. I'm incredibly pleased with it. I just had an immense amount of fun doing this model. And so let's talk about composition. So in an army, you have to have rules. So if you use a certain shade of brown for leather, you can't also use that for wood because that doesn't complete the rules. A Slann in Warhammer lore typically has a different skin color than the rest of the army, which is turquoise in this case. So I was going to make him green, but then I was like, that's a little too on the nose. A frog is green. So I decided to give him pale skin and make him an albino bullfrog. And I was going to make this jade, but I thought that would be like a lot of color. And I also made his loincloth thing a mauve color at first, sort of a brownish, purplish, reddish color. But it looked too organic and it tied in too much with the purple of the skin. So I ended up just making it disappear in a way by making it this very dark blue. The darker color makes it obviously recede into the shadows. There's a little bit of brown worked in there to give it an earth tone and to make it disappear just a little bit more. His tongue, I love the tongue as a feature on this model. So the tongue has a color that's not found anywhere else. It's a purplish, reddish, brownish color that I custom mixed. I gave him yellowish teeth, red eyes, like his eyes are all red and they're just white. I wanted them to be sort of magically glossed over. Now this energy ball, boy, I was going to make that seafoam green. And for whatever reason, I decided to make it fluorescent green. So I started putting that on and I was like, that's no good. And finally I decided, you know what, I'm just going to try yellow. And I'm glad I did. It gives a nice light-dark contrast. It draws the eye very much upwards here. So you have 1, 2, 3 points, a little triangle of sort of bluish ocean tones. That's the word I'm looking for. And then, of course, the gold is a nice accent as well. A little bit of yellowish, but also a different sort of color, metallic, that is. And I think that's all I have to say about this guy. Super pleased. And I hope you had fun going on this little journey talking about composition and color on him. And the focal point is definitely where it should be. You got a lot of really great balance on this guy in terms of triangles. That you've got these angles here coming up, and then you have this here so two triangles inverted on each other gives this guy some really nice motion. And that comes down into the legs that they do draw the eye back down. And I absolutely love his pose. I love the musculature on this model. I love the way the mouth and the head looks. The big old tongue coming out is absolutely fantastic. In fact, let's take a look at the back of him, which of course you'll never see because right after this I'm going to glue it on. Maybe I should just glue him on backwards like he's sitting backwards in it. It's some sort of Zen lesson that you're supposed to learn. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, you'll never see that back again. And I absolutely love it. I'm really excited. And this is model number 2 for the Studio Lizardmen. What does this have to do with you? Well, first off, if you'd like us to do a Warhammer Fantasy type army for you, that'd be awesome. I can help you, guide you through finding 3D prints, or you can, of course, buy official Games Workshop sculpts. And the second thing is we're going to be doing some battle reports. So for those of you that were itching for Warhammer Fantasy battle reports, well, guess what? We're going to be using 9th Age, which is a fan-produced rule set that is basically almost exactly like classic Warhammer Fantasy. It's really amazingly good. I can't wait to play it. My sons are excited to play it. I think we're going to easily get a little group of 6 going. But, of course, no plan survives contact with the enemy, so we may, I don't know, it may all just sort of implode on itself. But I don't think so because we've already made some great headway. At Blue Table Painting, we're actually working on 3 different Warhammer Fantasy style armies. We're working on a High Elves army, a Wood Elves army, and a Cahorn, or a Demons army. So that's very exciting. And the Demons army guy is going to be apparently coming to Salt Lake to play a game with me. So he's going to be going up against my Lizardmen. I not guarantee, plan on doing both armies concurrently and getting them both done. Super excited about that. All right, I think that's it. So you know where to find me. I'm kind of like the Maytag repairman these days. My inbox is empty. I'm just waiting around for people to set up projects, and by and large, all the projects are moving forward at a clipper pace. It makes me happy, and of course, I'm always looking at how to improve my operation. All right, off I go. Bye.